I'm Karen, and I've been living in Hanoi for almost 3 years now. After 6 months with the Buffalo Tours team, we decided to send me out on a street eats tour to experience what it's really like to explore Hanoi alongside a tour guide. And like any good traveler, I brought along my friend Vera to experience it with me. At least by the time we got to the street selling fresh fruit, we got to actually eat something. And we started with a very strange fruit called vu sua, which means boob milk. And it tastes exactly how it sounds. Then we headed for beer.
Welcome to the beer corner!
And there we sat down for something called bia hoi, which is a very bitter and very cold beer, but strangely refreshing even though it was cold outside.
This kind of beer is called bia hoi. Yeah. Beer is beer. In Vietnamese we use the word beer for beer. And also hoi, that means the white part, the foam. Because this beer is so cheap.
We only got one beer before we headed out to the street again. The walk to Bun Cha was very eventful.
Snake.
Oh, it's kind of sad.
This one is kind of a very good drink for men.
This is definitely not a real snake.
Apparently this was a road that our tour guide Ting knew very well, because when he first started being a tour guide, he headed here with his first $20 he ever made to buy a gift not for himself, but for his nieces.
And I went straight to this silver street, buy the earrings and some souvenirs for my niece and my nephew. And it was very happy.
And you can get them for under $20?
Yep.
A few minutes later, we passed this group of people huddled around what looked like an open flame on the sidewalk. When we took a closer look, it turned out that it was fish.
Do you feel like at the ocean now?
I can taste the ocean.
Yeah.
We passed a woman who was making a very specific kind of barbecue street chicken. She was one of my favorite women we saw that day. We got to the Bun Cha place just in time for my stomach to start growling.
This is one of the best places in Hanoi to try Bun Cha. So the main ingredient of Bun Cha is the rice noodles. But instead of putting the rice noodles into the bowl with the broth, put the rice noodle on a plastic plate. There's another broth bowl next to that. With all the grilled pork inside. When you eat that, you use your chopsticks. Pick the rice noodles and dip them into the bowl.
Even after my strange foray with the street fish, I wasn't sure if it was the best Bun Cha I've ever had or if I was just
Good. This is so much better than the Bun Cha I've had.
Hanoi is one of those strange places where walking along the road you can see any number of really bizarre souvenirs. My favorite one though, of course, was a little waving cat, which I spotted at a place selling gold. We arrived at a corner barbecue joint.
They sell hats in here. And at night time they sell barbecue.
They sell what?
Hats.
Hats. I thought you said hearts.
Which had probably the strangest collection of ingredients I have ever seen.
Quails.
Oh, look at these guys. You can see their eyes.
Barbecue in Hanoi is very hands-on. They don't really do a whole lot to help you cook it. You are expected to cook your meal yourself. We were pretty glad to have Ting there because I'm not much of a cook.
So this is a stove.
Okay.
They're gonna lit it up.
This is audio.
And then they already put some cooking oil. So we're gonna fry the food again.
The whole experience was very eye-opening because for a long time I thought I knew everything there was to know about Hanoi street food since I'd been living here for such a long time. But there's something very different about going out and eating street food with a local like Ting. He knew more about the history of each place and the stories behind each place that made them special. Finally, we headed to ice cream.
This is, we're standing inside the Trang Tien ice cream shops.
It was one of those moments where I realized I didn't know the first thing about Hanoian street food. The thing is, no matter how long you spend in a city, you'll never know it quite like a local. In just 3 hours, I managed to discover so much of what I didn't know about street food in Hanoi. It was just a taste, but it was enough to rediscover a city that I thought I knew. I have a feeling this won't be the last time I take to the streets with Buffalo Tours. So, until next time.